Hey guys, welcome to Interesting Video in Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Kaisa supplementary guide, and today we're going to be taking a look at Crit Kaisa. So taking a look at the top couple of builds, actually you do have one person, the third highest Kaisa, does use the crit build, and I've tested it myself. I've actually had quite a lot of success with the crit build. Of course, the standard Kaisa build is on hit build or like a AP variant, like what you see the second guy is going for. But the crit build actually does help you out a lot with burst damage, right? And the trick is to delay Runan's Hurricane. Now, I used to go for Runan's Hurricane second, then into Blaster, and then into the other crit items, which does work very well, but it delays your crit by a lot, and it kind of destroys your damage potential in the early to mid game. So actually the way to go is you first start off with the Bloodthirster, of course, for the stats and the defensive capabilities. And then you go for boots after that, so you can get your Q evolve early and then go into boots, which can be gluttonous greaves or defensive boots. Of course, go for defensive boots if there is a lot of a single type of damage on the enemy team. Otherwise, gluttonous greaves works just fine. And then you go into Magnetic Blaster. Now, Magnetic Blaster gives you a lot of burst damage just because of the extra damage you get when you proc it, and of course you get the static shift as well, and all that good stuff, and extra range, all of that bonus abilities. And then, of course, the standard 2 crit items, your IE for your extra damage, and your Molar Reminder for Armor Pen and Grievous Wounds. And then, just because I personally don't like playing Kaisa without Runans, I have Runans as my last item just so that we can carry team fights a little bit easier. But of course, you can go for something defensive as well here, like Twin Guard or Maw. And then for the runes, the standard ADC loadout, and for the spells, with Kaisa, you obviously want to go for Cleanse if you need Cleanse. Now, Ghost works on Kaisa, but I personally never really take Ghost on Kaisa because I don't really think you need Ghost. So if I don't go for Cleanse, I like to go for like Barrier or Exhaust, depending on the situation. But with all that said, now let's move on to taking a look at the gameplay. Okay, so now let's take a look at our gameplay. This is going to be a pretty exciting gameplay itself. Now, so when do you want to go for the crit build, right? First things first. To me, it's pretty straightforward. You want to go for the crit build when the enemy team is squishy, right? Because obviously the on-hit build benefits a lot more against a tanky enemy. You have Terminus first item for the armor pen. You have Bork just for the percent health damage. So I think the crit build works a lot better against enemies who are squishy, right? Because you can burst them down easily with the blaster, just with your general crit damage and just things like that, right? So yeah. So here in lane, we're against an Ezreal and a Swain. Leona gets the stun off onto the Ezreal. Ezreal pops the barrier immediately to block a lot of damage. Leona just running them down gets a lot of damage onto the Ezreal. And here I'm getting a lot of damage onto the Swain, proccing the passive here. Kaisa passive at level 1 is really, really insane. It's what helps Kaisa what helps Kaisa to win a lot of level 1 fights. And here we basically out-traded them by quite a bit. Of course, we ourselves are not exactly very healthy, but we did definitely win that trade. We eat a Q from the Ezreal. However, Ezreal gets engaged on me, flash forward, get the W into his face, prompt the passive, and get the free kill. And unfortunately, we are now in a bit of trouble. But Swain flashes away instead because he's scared of the Leona who has been destroying his Ezreal. And this, of course, allows us to not just remain safe, but also, of course, to push in the wave and then get off a good reset. And of course, as I mentioned, we don't want to go for boots. We do want to, of course, go for the 2 components here. Or not the components, we want to go for Bloodthirster first, which of course means that we'll be building components when we get our bases in. So here just continuing to farm. Of course, Kaisa is not really the best in lane. You can't really poke, and you can basically only really farm and all in. So other than farming, the only time you can really do anything is when your support decides to go in, or it's like you get caught out and you're forced into a fight, something like that. Other than that, laning is pretty boring for Kaisa. All you're really doing is just farming. And, we can get off a Q every now and again, but it's not going to do very much damage because it's going to be spread onto the minions as well as enemies. Here Ezreal tries to back, but unfortunately, he gets the protection from the minions and I'm not able to hit the W on him. Leona, I think, thought that I would hit the W, so ults immediately after to try to follow up, and maybe we can go in. However, since W didn't actually hit, he recalled and the ult hits only the air. However, this does allow us to get 2 free tower plates, so we are getting a pretty big advantage. We're actually 1k gold up on Ezreal at this point. And with this extra money that we have, we can actually back and get the Bloodthirster. However, we get interrupted by Swain. Ezreal gets engaged on. I was thinking of ulting in there, but Ezreal shifts out of the way, so we're not going to be too hasty here. We're just going to focus Swain. Vel'Koz is now coming. And now we're in the spot of bother. We pop the barrier, flash away, ult back across the other side to avoid the Vel'Koz ulti. And we actually end up surviving. So now we really, of course, do want to reset to get the Bloodthirster, which we do. And we get the Bloodthirster, get the Q evolve. That's, of course, a huge spike. But Ahri, in the meantime, gets dove under the tower. And I guess you could argue that us recalling there kind of doomed Ahri because now she's in a 3v1. And the tower is not going to save you against a 3v1. So maybe a little bit of a oopsie there. Probably should not have ditched our Ahri. But, yeah, so here, wave has just come in. Now with the Q evolve, you can basically one-shot the wave. And here, Swain and Ezreal gets caught out. I'm actually walking the whole long way around because I don't have my ult. And Swain eats the fruit, goes pretty low. But here, you can see I'm focusing Ezreal. Just one more for the passive proc. I get the passive proc and Ezreal goes down. The Leona tanks the tower, allows me to finish off the kill onto the Swain. And this allows us to kill both of them and pick up another tower plate. However, we aren't actually able to pick up the tower plate because Samira is now coming in, flashes in, shield bow pops, Bloodthirster pops, and we're actually able to somehow kite the Samira out and actually survive. And she actually ends up dying. Ezreal out misses both of us as well. And we end up having a 3-0-1 scoreline with just a huge 1k lead against the Ezreal at this point. So now we are going to redeploy on the map. Of course, we've gotten pretty lucky in a couple of fights there. I mean, we also played the fights pretty well, if I do say so myself. So we end up in a pretty good position. And of course, enemy team's pretty squishy. We are kind of snowballing at this point. And, when we get to the second item, of course, the Blaster, you're going to start seeing how we can basically start bursting people down. And do that kind of throughout the entire game. Ezreal completely caught out. We all in. Yeah, we just basically just one-shot him. Swain runs for the hills. Ahri's help not really even needed. Very, very nice ult by Leona. Allows us to follow up very easily. Charm comes in from the Ahri onto the Swain. We unload everything onto Swain. Swain left pretty low. Goes down. Leona and myself and Ahri now trying to make it out. Unfortunately, Leona does not make it out. Samira goes in with the ulti. Gets disrupted by Ahri. We get another kill onto the Samira there. And Ezreal ult once again misses everybody. Pretty funny that Ezreal ult does not hit. Like ever. And now we pick up the resets and start building towards, of course, the Blaster. 6-0-1. 2k gold lead against the Ezreal now. And 2k gold lead against pretty much everybody on the enemy team at this point. Now Dragon is up. Leona and Ahri are here. However, Leona is going to take a lot of damage because she's basically alone at this point. Almost dies. Ezreal on the chase. I'm here to ensure if he overcommits, he will die for it. He does not though. And my team picks up the Herald in trade. I'm trying to see if we can force this tower. Which we do, getting us the first tower of the game. Here Leona's going to look to reset. In the meantime, I'm just going to farm the Krugs. While Ezreal is pushing in the wave. just going to quickly and easily clear the wave. And here I'm looking to reset. However, Ezreal for some strange reason decides to just run straight at me. So I'm just going to commit the ult just to get the kill on save. He barriers, flashes, and uses everything, but he can't survive. So I pick up another free kill courtesy of him, push out another wave, and then get a reset. Pretty straightforward. Gives us the blaster as well as, of course, the E-evolve. And here Leona goes in on Samira. Samira gets completely caught out, dies while she's in the ulti, and I go legendary. Vel'Koz out of mana at this point. Gnar doesn't have the rage either. So we're in a pretty good spot here in the mid lane. Not a lot of threat. Clearing up that wave. And here we're trying to force down this mid lane tower using the pressure that we have. Ezreal just trying to get some free poke while we're doing so. Not very significant because he's hitting Malphite, who is a full tank Malphite. I'm just taking the blue buff since Ahri is walking to the other side of the map. Ult goes in onto the Vel'Koz, follow up with my W, and just go in with the ult to burst him down. Now I have the full stack lethal tempo at this point. I'm just trying to focus the squishy target. Samira is now on me. I get off an entire Q auto onto her for the kill. And here I still have the full stack lethal tempo. This is a very good fight for me. And I'm just trying to get into a position where I can DPS. Very, very nice Gnar ulti from the Gnar. Puts me out of position. And I nearly kill the Ezreal, but unfortunately instead, he gets the kill onto me and picks up the shutdown. So he gets like 1,000 gold there, and even so, I'm still 3,000 gold ahead of him. Definitely a very, very fed this game. I'm like 4,000 gold ahead of a couple people and 3,000 gold ahead of everybody else. So definitely in a very, very commanding position. Of course, we just lost our shutdown though, so that's definitely not good news. However, we're still in a really good spot, and we're definitely not like throwing the game or anything like that, so we're definitely still fine. Now we're gonna port over down towards the bottom lane to catch this, wave that has kind of accumulated down there. It's actually just one wave, but the next wave is gonna be coming, and the bot side jungle is still up and unfarmed, so we probably want to stay in this area considering Dragon is also going to be spawning soon. So just look for the farm and then go for the Dragon fight. I think we can maybe even get IE before the Dragon spawns. But looks like a fight's happening in the mid lane. We're trying to make our way there maybe? No, we don't care about that. We just want the IE. Unfortunately, two of my teammates are dead. So here we get the W evolve, and Jax is AFK at the moment, so this is kind of the part of the match where I'm like, uh-oh. Like, the Jax just randomly went AFK, like, yeah, we obviously cannot really do Dragon because that's our jungler. And a couple of my teammates died, so it's like, this situation suddenly is looking not very good. So unfortunately the Brit buff was stolen by the enemy team. But since my jungle is AFK, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to go farm his jungle. Of course, you always want to prioritize the waves first. So farm the waves first, then the jungle. But since my Malphite and Ahri are farming the waves, I'm just going to focus on farming the jungle. Now, I thought they were going to do Baron, which is why I was pinging Baron. But they were not actually doing Baron. So here I'm just going to continue on farming the jungle. And looks like a fight is going to break out here with the Gnar and the Swain. So I'm making my way over. Leona flashes over, gets the CC onto the Gnar. We ult over, finish off the Gnar. Swain goes into stasis, but he doesn't really have anywhere to run. So he's going to go down as well. We get two very free quick picks. And we can also counter jungle the enemy Krugs and look for any other enemy jungle camps. Now Vel'Koz basically just one-shots Leona here. Of course, Vel'Koz doing true damage is very scary, even for tanks. Samira and Jax are getting into a fight. Samira does have her ulti here, so I don't want to go too close to her because she's going to ult me for free. And by the way, Jax has came back from being AFK, so now we have our Jax again. But at this point, he's pretty far behind everybody else. Of course, made up from the fact that I'm pretty far ahead of everybody else. Samira's the next most fat person, 2k gold below me. Which is pretty surprising because she hasn't really killed me at all this game. Hasn't really even been close to killing me at all this game, but she's definitely very fed, so we definitely have to be cautious. Never know when a Samira reset will just lead to her dashing onto you and just killing you. So here everybody's kind of at the Baron area because that's obviously the objective that's up right now. Now here I'm just trying to stay at a safe distance to DPS, which I kind of do for a while, but I get hit by some of Vel'Koz stuff. Eventually we're able to get into a position to kill Samira, but everybody on our team is pretty low, so we kind of just want to retreat here. And I'm just looking for a little bit more gold to get the Mole Reminder. This, of course, is going to put me at 100% crit. Jack's just farming his jungle now. We, of course, want to go to the mid lane or top lane because Baron is still up. So we don't want to go to the wrong side of the map here. Neither does Jax. Thankfully, our bot lane is pushing out. So we should be able to play on mid lane and top lane. Malphite is getting run down by 3 people. Now I have a choice of whether to go the safe way or the dangerous way. I chose to go the safe way, but I think the dangerous way actually would have been better. Because now I'm a little bit too far away. I have to ult in to kind of catch up to the fight. When I could have actually just walked there. But of course, if I walked the dangerous way, I could have just died. So there's that as well. I get the triple kill. And here I'm thinking this could be pentakill, so I flash forward, I'm chasing, I get the quadra. But unfortunately, Ezreal is too slippery. I need Ari to like hit a charm or tank tower for me at least, but of course she doesn't, so no pentakill for me unfortunately. Still trying my walking behind the tower, but of course he knows, and he's not gonna give it so easily. With that though, we should be able to get a free Baron if we actually turn back onto the Baron. Enemy team has respawned, so it's a little bit dangerous, but we are able to secure it before the enemy team is able to really contest. And Dragon is up as well. However, before that, we're going to quickly reset for a stasis just in case we need it to survive Samira or Vel'Koz damage. And meanwhile, our team, of course, starting out the Dragon. I don't think they need my help, so I'm just farming the Raptors on the way there. Gnar is going in with the flash and trying to steal the Dragon on his own. Now, Vel'Koz hits a lot of damage onto me. I pop the barrier. Shield Bow pops. Bloodthirster pops, as well as I ult, so a lot of shields from me. Vel'Koz is getting run down by Leona, and Leona actually pretty much solo kills the Vel'Koz, which is pretty funny. And now I'm going to use this opportunity to push in this wave. Of course, still Baroned up. And we can use it to pick up the bot lane tower here. As there's only 2 people left alive, and they're both in the mid lane. They're 16-1 and 4, so having a very insane game here. Samira here trying to defend her inhib tower, but she can't really do that. So inhib tower goes down. Swing gets caught by Leona, pops the stasis, but he's not gonna be going anywhere. 1 auto is enough to just kill him. Samira tries to go in by herself, kills the Leona, but doesn't survive afterwards. Now here, somehow, okay, not somehow, but I actually still had barrier and ult. Sorry, I had flash and ult, but I didn't expect both Ezreal and Gnar Q to hit me at the same time to just deal a huge amount of burst damage. Normally they hit at different times, of course. So a little bit unlucky there, but yeah, definitely could use my safety tools a little bit better if I wanted to survive. Now jumping in onto Ari. Ari pops the stasis to survive Vel'Koz for a while. Almost kills the Gnar, but Gnar eventually does get the kill. Now Jax is in a very, very strange flanking position. Gets bursted down by Vel'Koz nearly 100 to 0. Continues chasing Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz hits another W. Still chasing Vel'Koz. Thankfully, he finally backs off. Because I don't think he wins that chase. I think Vel'Koz just kites him out and kills him with the next round of spells. Considering what we just saw just now. And at this point, I have my Runaan's Hurricane completed. So basically full build at this point. I even changed my boots to defensive boots. And Elder is coming up in 20 seconds. So this is going to be the game-defining fight, most likely. And we need our teams to kind of come here. Ari is going to the wrong place. Come on, Ari, get over here. There we go. So we assist ping her. Thankfully, she comes over. Swain, obviously in the wrong position at the moment. Leona tries to go in. All the way into the back line. Leona goes in with me. And we are able to get rid of a couple of people. Only Ezreal and Swain are left, I believe. And only Ezreal is left now. I believe we can end the game here. I can't really chase Ezreal because he has that Sorrel does, so it slows you down when you try to chase him. And my team's going to secure Elder, so myself and Ari, we can just go and start off the Baron first. So we probably Baron, Elder, reset. Elder, Baron, reset, and then just go end the game. Huge wave at the top lane though. And we secure the Baron once again. And now we can probably just run down like mid or run down the lane with our team, and we probably can just end the game right then and there, or like get a fight and end the game. Now here I'm kind of just drawing the attention of the enemy team so that my team can push in the top lane. Jax is just completely lost on the map. He's recalling right now for some reason where we're trying to do a game-ending push. Malphite ult goes in. I'm able to ult in and basically quickly finish off two people. Leona flashes in. Gnar actually helps me by pushing me towards two people. And eventually I'm actually able to pick up a Quadra. Now I think Leona stole the second kill on accident, so it could have been a Penta, but too bad. Anyways, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.